What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 7 of the Fully Pinned podcast. Of course, our guest is Toby Gibbons, aka Tony CRUZE. This is a really cool episode because you're going to get to see an insight into the life of a young up-and-coming racer. He's a really talented dude, very switched on, and it's dope because you're going to get to see what it takes and what he's kind of doing to, take his career on a mountain bike to the next level. Of course, as per usual, we have a fantastic yarn. We have a great laugh. You're going to enjoy the stories, enjoy the banter. So let's kick it off, episode 7, with Tony CRUZE. Toby Gibbons, it's a go. Let's go!
Just came along, every time, we go to drop into a run, I'm like, oh, you go, I'm just cruising. They just merged the two. One of the dudes just merged the two. He's like, yo, Tony CRUZE.
Your dream build? Have you ever, I have a team that, I'd love. He got me good.
I'm a uni student. I don't have the money to replace a wheel, so.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Fully Pinned podcast episode. I'm sorry, I had to count it last time. This will be episode 7 with Toby Gibbo. Tony CRUZE, a.k.a. Tony CRUZE, the superhero. We're going to find out about that. Avid mountain biker, just come back from Crankworks, had a solid outing there, got big goals, big dreams. This is what we're here to talk about, bro. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, cheers. Stoked to be on it.
Really cool. It'd be cool to have some of the young up-and-comers, on this. This is one of the reasons I've said to a couple of people, I want to have an opportunity. There's a lot of talent out there. There's a lot of, cool personalities, and followed yours for a bit, and I thought, hey, if he's keen to have a yarn, let's get him on.
Yeah, I'm always keen for a good yarn.
Yeah, look, I think a good chat is underrated. People underestimate the connections you can build, the cool things that can come up. You can come away from a good conversation, a good healthy conversation, feeling really good. I think it's a good yarn solid.
Yeah, 100%.
To do. Firstly, though, like I said, a.k.a. Tony CRUZE, just before we hit the record button, you said, because I asked you, what is that? I'm so sure Toby's your actual name because I've seen, race results, etc. And obviously people announcing you at Crankworks when you come down the hill. How did you get, what's the deal behind the nickname? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Toby always just gets auto-corrected to Tony every time you type a message. And so my mates, every time they text me, it's always just Tony anyways. And so they started calling me Tony.
Whether you want to hear it or not, eh?
Yeah, it's just something it's the harsh reality. I just had to accept it, but it's not too bad.
Could be worse things.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's the Tony part.
What's
the CRUZE?
Yeah, what about the second bit?
Just came along every time we go to drop into a run, I'm like, oh, you go, I'm just cruising. And so they just merged the two. One of the dudes just merged the two. He's like, yo, Tony CRUZE.
It's actually a pretty sick nickname.
Yeah, kind of it's stuck. And so now I've got my YouTube thing, which is Tony's TV, and
yeah, Tony's TV. A dead set can see a race jersey or a merch line, limited drop 20 T's, 5 smalls, 5 mediums,
yeah.
Just
we're working on it.
AKA, and then the T CRUZE on the back. It's kind of like how Frother's got, obviously it's not his name, but how his race jersey.
Yeah.
It's got Frother on the back. It's so sick.
It's the sickest thing, Frother's jersey. I love it.
Oh, bro, it's so good. And it's funny, you think about it in the game. He's an absolute legend, and obviously, he's been blowing up. I'm trying to hustle to get him on, but obviously he's living it up at the moment, just having the time of his life. But when he is on a track, it's everybody is oh, that's that guy. And I feel like Tony CRUZE or T CRUZE, on a jersey, it could be the same thing, bro.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll try to get Huck the World around to put it on a jersey or something.
Dude, that would be dope. So, you're 19 now. how did you get onto bikes? Was it just a thing like, did you have folks who were into bike or an older sibling? Did your parents be like, here's a bike and that was it? Like, what's kind of your backstory there, bro?
So kind of started like my dad, he used to be a triathlete. So he's always loved his cycling. That was like his strongest leg in the triathlons. So he's always loved that. And then growing up as a kid, we had a farm up the coast of New South Wales, up at Foster, and we had a decision, like we're either getting motorbikes or a TV. And obviously, like I've got 2 brothers and a sister, so the boys outweighed it, and we all got motorbikes.
Yes.
And so I learnt to ride them when I was like 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's like a little Pee-wee or something?
Yeah, on a little Pee-wee 50.
Yeah.
Blew the springs out on that pretty quickly, but yeah, and then rode motorbikes like all my life up until I was kind of racing, and then I had some big injuries doing that like 4 years ago, so I stopped. And kind of in those last couple of years of racing moto, me and my mates would just like go on to the BMX track or built little jumps in the bush behind my place, and eventually got a mountain bike to do that. And when I stopped racing moto, I was like, let's give this mountain bike thing a proper go, and bought myself a good bike, and away it went.
Kind of just working out.
Yeah.
You would have to be like, man, heaps of MTB guys have either had moto or BMX experience, or if they are just mountain bikers, that's, BMXing, or riding BMX and riding moto is something they do on the side or for training. Did you get a lot of, like I've heard this like kind of as like a resounding theme. Did you get like a lot of carryover with the bike control stuff you learned from riding moto when you jumped on the mountain bike?
Yeah, a lot of it kind of carries over. Like your body position's very similar, except with the moto, you grip the seat a lot with your knees. You don't really do that on the mountain bike. But like all the looking through corners, like dipping the bike over and kind of getting like the fundamentals of it, all transferred super easy. So I guess I was able to pick it up pretty quickly.
Yeah, gotcha. And you would have actually, I mean, without thinking about it, like, I don't know if you do a lot of gym work or, training and stuff outside of it, but throwing a moto around and then throwing a bike around, there would have been a lot of strength transfer, I'm guessing, as well. Like you would have been gotten up and be like, oh man, did it feel easy to throw around like a mountain bike compared to, I mean, it almost sounds like a silly question, but did you find that you like fell into it pretty quick when you got on it?
Yeah, definitely. Like I kind of picked up the mountain bike whenever we went to the BMX track and I started doing the bigger jumps. Like I was able to like get the BMX bike or the mountain bike whipped out a lot more than I could on a moto. And yeah, because it's so much lightweight and you're already using a lot of the same muscles in your core and back. It's kind of a bit easier to do. So yeah,
it just goes.
Yeah,
it's interesting to know like how it kind of comes from like if you've like Dragon Ball Z, and how Piccolo always, I don't know if you know much about Dragon Ball Z, but there's a character on it called Piccolo, and he always wear that like weighted vest. When he took this weighted vest off, like he'd get like a surge in power because he just always has it on. And I kind of feel like people that have ridden moto, it's like the same sort of thing. They get on the bike and be like, oh damn, like it's it's kind of like the same sort of idea. Like it's similar. Like this is chill. Because before, look, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron Gwynn, like massive moto guy before he got into, as I listened to Jace McAlpine's potty that he did with, and I was just like, and his jiu-jitsu story, that was so sick.
Yeah,
but
I
like
love the Gypsy Tales podcast. That's sick.
Yeah, it is so fat. But yeah, he just found the same thing, like same sort of carryover, because obviously doing such big. Was it the same with jumps? Like obviously you do such massive jumps on moto. Did you find like BMX, and do you find sending it a little bit easier on a mountain bike?
I guess I had like you get your body position, your head like in line with the bars.
Yeah.
That's all good, and your judgment as well of like distance and speed.
Okay.
Been pretty good for me, so
Yeah, it's something that now because I'm 36, so like there's a bit of age here. But when I was riding continuously like years ago in high school, it's not something I would have thought about because when I was a kid, I just sent everything. But something I'm like really struggling with now is speed management and the right speed to hit stuff with. So. No, I think it'll come eventually. But man, if I had the coin, I'd definitely invest in. I would love to have a little moto for myself and my son to whip around on. It is such good fun, man. So how did you get tied in like some of the teams and stuff that you're working with now? Did you have an affiliation or like a connect or how did like Huck the World come about and like how did that all happen for you?
So yeah, it's kind of like they each have their own little story.
Cool.
The pivot came about. My cousins were family friends with one of the dudes that worked there. They ended up like following me for a bit. I was going to get a bike from them, but then I got a job at a bike shop and bought a different bike through there. And then they followed my results a bit more. And then when I was time to get a new bike, they reached out and like, hey, we'll put you on a Firebird. That was when the new ones come in. And so
whoop, whoop.
That came about pretty cool. And that's obviously done through Jet Black. So all the Jet Black stuff and 661.
Yeah, gotcha. Yep.
That all came about that way. Huck the World, I was just riding at Threadbow and saw one of my friends and did a lap with her. And Muzzy, the guy that runs it, he was tagging along and met him through there. And yeah, kind of
saw the shred.
Started through there. And then a lot of the others I just met at races and I've reached out to them or they've come to me. So
that's cool. It's always like, I like hearing like I think everyone loves a good origin story. Like I love hearing those ins and outs and those different things because each of those little things that you do is like a stepping stone to, the goals that you have. Do you have aspirations like or something that you want to tick off in the next 6, 8, 12 months, like a couple of years? Do you want to get on a World Cup circuit? Like obviously, we were talking before, you just did Crankworks. What's the plans for riding, bro?
Yeah, so goals are definitely like I want to be getting consistent, like good results at the World Cups. So next year I'm doing my first season of hopefully going to get to all of the Enduro World Cups next year. So I'm just doing that as a privateer. It'll be my last year in the under-21s. And yeah, then from there, goal is like to try to get on a team. That's obviously everybody's dream to be able to do riding as a job. But I don't know, take it.
How wild.
Yeah. Just take it one step at a time.
It's like I've been watching all the hardline stuff and like unfortunately got cancelled, but like can you just rock like just the idea of like being somewhere at 7 a.m. Like you got to clock in for your job.
Yeah.
But it's to go send it down like the gnarliest mountain. Like
yeah. It's like instead of clocking in your time card, you're clipping in your pedals. It's
it's like such a crazy thing. Although I listened to Bernard Kerr's, he's trying to do a lot. Like he's trying to do the riders union with all the changes that have been made, and he said like, I get to ride bikes and people pay me to ride a bike, and this is obviously this is like elite level. I've bought a house. There's so much this has given me. Like it's such a gnarly thing that you hear about guys like ages ago, like pros, like talking about the money they're on, and there was no way they could have ever bought a house. Like it's so cool to see, and like MTB is still such a small sport on the grand scale of things, but it's so cool to see that, you as a young person be like, damn, that's something I can actually work towards.
Yeah, it's definitely cool seeing how the sport's growing. Like even since I first started riding, so many people are getting into it. And
yeah,
it's definitely cool knowing that there's a possibility to actually make like a good living as an athlete in this sport.
Big time. I mean, obviously, track sports, basketball, rugby, football, all the different, codes like combat sports. Like there's so much coin of it, but like the fact that now people start talking about, so he's like, it's cool. It's got to be 100% like it's motivating for you guys. How does what you're studying now tie into like kind of where you want to go with the bike riding, bro?
Well, yeah, obviously I'm studying sports media and communications. It's gonna hopefully lead me into a position where I can work for either a magazine company or other brands creating content or reporting on races. Which is something that I already make my own YouTube videos at races and do all that stuff, which kind of gives me the idea that all that is stuff I can do while racing alongside of it. So
yeah, I like that. That's dope.
Yeah.
Kind of dip your foot in the pot, so to speak, before how like that opportunity comes about. How long's the course?
It's a 3-year course. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you first year or second?
This is my first year, so I'm just about to start second semester, but it's all going really good.
Enjoying it?
Yeah, loving it. It's definitely the right course for me.
It's pretty hard to you just hear so many stories that like people dropping out from what they think they needed. So it sounds like you're pretty like switched on, and you must have done a fair bit of research before you picked exactly what it was you were going to do.
Yeah, I kind of looked in, like I was thinking about studying engineering. Did some research, that wasn't right for me. My girlfriend, she studies sports and exercise science, which is another course I was kind of thinking of. But yeah, I knew I wanted to do something that could keep me close to the industry. And yeah, found this course and looked into it, and it just clicked. Like I'm already doing a lot of the media and content creation, so I thought it'd be good.
That's dope. If you could, I almost ask everyone this question. If you could sign, I mean, it's easy to say now because you've got the pivot shirt on, but ask a hard question. If you could sign with the team, drop of a hat, who would it be?
It's different for like different disciplines, If I was doing enduro.
Okay, now run them out.
I think downhill, like, it's kind of hard to say no to like the Santa Cruz Syndicate or Specialized. But then again, this new Pivot Phoenix that's coming out is really cool.
Right, it looks so good.
Yeah, from what I've heard from the team, like through Pivot Australia, apparently it's insane. So,
that like they can change their geometry via the 3D printed carbon lugs. Is that correct?
Yeah. So they can kind of 3D print like whatever they want. It's a lot of science. I don't know everything on it, so I'm obviously not gonna make heaps of comments on it. But it's crazy.
I got into. I don't know many. Oh, look, actually, I do. I know guys that were like full BMX and that ride motor now, and they don't really care about like they probably never check their sag or like what parts are which and PSI this and how many chain links that. Like they just got their bike so it works. But I love nerding out about it, and I read most. I actually should finish it, but Flow MTB's article on the prototype, and I was just like, you're just kind of like scratching your head. You think about, Rob Warner talks about riding fully rigids, like bikes down this, and now it's here. Like it's freaking gnarly. Could you explain to me how it's like an idler system, but it's got a third cog. Is that correct? Am I remembering that correctly? Because it goes obviously with the idler system, you've got the rear cassette, and then it goes up and down. But there's another little one. Do you know what the purpose of that is?
So it's kind of there's like the chain ring, then there's
yep.
2 idler pulleys up there so that they can run the 2 chains that they've got going on.
So wild.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know fully how it all works with when it like compresses and stuff, but it's so that the chain, essentially you need an idler pulley because when your suspension compresses with a high pivot, your chain like state grows. Essentially, your length from your bottom bracket to your rear wheel.
Yeah, because it extends out. So when you come over whatever it's going over, it accelerates essentially.
Yeah. So they're doing that to, that's their own way of kind of doing that. And yeah, the two chains is like mind blowing, but apparently it works better than just having a normal idler pulley.
Very interesting. And I don't mind most of the pivot designs and frames. Like I'm pretty simple in the things that I could literally ride a plain black bike for the rest of my life. I just like simple stuff. But when I saw like Bernard obviously bring out that thing and they had the close-ups of like how nice the carbon stitching was, and then the orange, and it's like just black with orange, but then having those like silver like lows, I was like, oh, that's actually so nice. It's probably the best looking bike in my opinion that they've put out in a while.
100%. It's just got the raw look, like
it looks
so
sick.
nice.
It literally looks like something that's been bolted, but not in a bad way. Like this will probably sound random as, but it looks like something that's just been bolted together in, some back room of a factory, but in a nice way. Like it just looks real industrial is probably the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's like it's got a weird but stylish look to it. Yeah. With the lugs, I think the lugged frames are like coming back a bit.
It's cool. Well, like Atherton Bikes were kind of doing, I think they're doing the same thing with the new AM 2.0 or the 200 2.0 or whatever it is. I
think the new Specialized as well. Their prototypes are lugged slightly as well. So
is that's the one Bruni's riding at the moment that's got the cover around the...
Yeah.
See, that's funny because they've always had like a... Specialized have had like, that little piece that connects to the seat tube or something like funky going on. But then you see, I think Finn is riding it as well. And it looks real simple.
It
looks real simple. It actually looks super dope. You mentioned earlier though, I just remembered this. You gonna try and do the Enduro World Series. Do you predominantly want to do Enduro? Because or is it downhill? Or do you want to try and do both here and there?
Yeah, definitely. Like Enduro is kind of where my heart's at. Growing up, obviously, but when I started riding, I didn't have my license, so I couldn't drive to places to do shuttle days or downhill days, and so I always just had an Enduro bike. So I was already pedaling around to each of the tracks, doing the longer rides. And I only just got my first downhill bike this year. But
oh, really?
Yeah. So just that Crankworks was my first actual race on it, but
gnarly.
Yeah, but anyways, back to the point. The Enduro is just like a lot more my style, and I prefer the longer runs. When it gets 5 to 10 minutes, it's kind of where I excel. So
the fitness side of things.
Yeah.
I went for a walk with the fans yesterday, and the walk that we did, I used to do it's a 4K walk, but I used to do it like sub 19-minute run, I think. And it's not by all means, it's not crazy good, but it's pretty decent to go sub 20 minutes for a 4K. But I thought out of all the sports that I've done, running was the hardest, right? Just because you have to have your mind, because as soon as your mind collapses, your body's just, it's just you can't hold that pace. And I think about Jack Moy being so sick and still getting ninth at the last, overall at the last round. And those stages are 6 to 7, sometimes 8 stages, anywhere from 6 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Full peg. That is gnarly. And obviously it's downhill is a different skill, but fitness wise, honestly, I think mentally enduro would be harder because of how the desperation your body has to go through to like stay fast, because you have to stay fast for 10 minutes. It's not 3.5 minutes. Like you have to stay fast, or 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is. Like you have to stay fast for 8 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely like a lot more mental than downhill, I think. At least to me it is. You gotta plan out your stages. This is what, like, everybody who's a downhill racer that asks like how to go about an enduro race, you got to plan out your stages, like where to attack, where you're going to catch your breath back. What are lines that are worth taking, and it's kind of a lot more mental battle getting through the day as well.
What is it like? I kind of know what Southeast, because I'm on the Gold Coast. I kind of know what Southeast Queensland like. For you, what does a race season look like at the moment? Do you have a little bit of help getting around to other things in other states, or like locally, what can you race, in ACT at the moment? Like, what is there for you to race enduro wise?
So in Canberra, there hasn't been a heap of racing. There's been the Rocky Trail Superflows come here twice a year.
Yeah.
They're both at Stromlo on the north and the south side of the hill, which is some really good riding there. But apart from that, we get one state enduro round.
Yeah.
And then we haven't had it for a couple of years, but the Canberra Off-Road Association, they're just starting up they just announced the dates today, actually. Some club enduro rounds. So, but yeah, it's kind of spread out. They're never really super close together. So,
do you find, and this is my first guest, Jack Drury, he's like absolutely shredding the Queensland series. Won the Illumbah third round of the or a winter downhill series at Illumbah on an enduro bike. Like smoked the field by like 5 seconds. Guy's a beast. I'm sure you guys will bump into each other at some stage. But it's kind of like the same thing. It seems quite hard outside of the Rocky thing to find a consistent race series for enduro at the moment. Are you finding you're having to travel a bit to get, like, because doing 2 races a year, if you've got aspirations to go to a pro level, isn't really sufficient? Are you finding you're having to travel a bit during the year to stay race ready, I guess?
Yeah, definitely. Like the travel I'd say like the summer is kind of when most of the racing is. Like we go to the Victorian rounds there, really competitive. There's like a lot of racing kind of around the summer period. But yeah, winter, there's definitely, if I want to do a lot of racing, I got to travel around. So it's like I was up in Cairns for Crankworks. Obviously, that's a big event, but yeah, if I want to do any enduro stuff, I got to travel a fair bit. So
man, it's brutal. Like for a thing that seems to be, downhill slope style. Like I think that's something that's always going to be here. But for something that seems to be a little bit easier, in regards into like, riding bikes is expensive, full stop.
Yeah.
But like having a full race ready like DH bike is just gnarly. Like it seems like enduro is a really good way. If you say, hey, do you want to do a race? You try it. It's a good way for someone to have its crack at it without, because you can cruise through. Like you don't have to, like most people, if they want to go try a downhill race, they turn up to the track and be like, oh, they've never done a race before. They can't exactly just pitch themselves down a hill unless they have some sort of experience. But you can go to an enduro and try it. So I find it, and have some sort of fun, be relatively safe, do it at your own pace, and then if it's for you, you can push it more. So I find it like crazy that there's not more going on, that there doesn't seem to be more being pushed here in Oz, because it seems to me like it is growing in its popularity.
Yeah, definitely. That's like something that Rocky Trail has capitalized on with their Superflow series. They've realized that enduro is like everybody who mountain bikes, like 90% of them would have an enduro bike.
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah, and you can go. All the little kids, they want dual suspension bikes nowadays, and and then they want to get into racing and the Rocky Trail. Like, they make the tracks a lot safer than what a normal club down or state downhill round would be.
Yep.
And you can do them at your own pace. You can, it's all about the riding really with enduro. You get more riding at a safer and less high risk and yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see more. I'd like to see more of it because I did the Toowoomba Superflow back in. Sorry, this Schweppes is coming back at me. I did the Toowoomba Superflow back in May, and I loved it. Like, I was like, this is definitely something I want to do more. But I don't think I could have tried a race another way.
Yeah.
Type thing. Like, there was the perfect way. Like, there was only 1 or 2 stages that were, past 5 minutes. Like, I'm not unfit, but, I'm not pro level fit. So it was like the perfect, in between sort of thing. Like, it still has the same thing. Got to push up. But you get, obviously with the Rocky Superflow, you get to do the trails as many times as you want as well. So it's a great way for people to get experience through a day, whereas some races you might get some practice hours and then race run.
Yeah.
So it'd be really cool to see. I don't know, this is really far-fetched, but it'd be dope to see Oz Cycling do something, because Fox, the Superflow has already got something so mapped out. Imagine if they could merge and I don't know if it'd be possible, but it'd be cool to see.
Yeah, it'd be good to see, but I'm unsure with the Rocky Trail stuff. I don't know if they're an Oz Cycling governed series.
Oh no,
you don't need to have an Oz Cycling license.
No, you don't. They're not. But it'd make sense, because the only points grab in Queensland for enduro is in Rockhampton, I think. Yeah, I think it's in Rockhampton. So there's no other way to get points towards overall national standings except for that one race. And it's a pretty crazy thing. You think about flights, and you got to pay for packing for your bike, then accommodation, just for a chance to get some points. There's no guarantee that you're going to finish top 5 or finish. It's hard for people. It sounds like it's almost too hard for people that really do want to go further without having to fork out so much money for travel.
Yeah, well, it is expensive. I did the Superflow last year in Rockhampton because it was a EWS qualifier.
Yes.
So they had points there. And so, I flew up to that one, and it gets expensive because it's hard to keep your bike under the 23 kilos or whatever you have to. So you have to pay $100 extra luggage, and then you get there, got to get the rental car and accommodation. It adds up.
It would just rack up so quick.
Yeah, it does. And I got there and I was having an issue with my bike because the box broke on the airline. And, so I had an issue with my brake hose, and then I was feeling a little bit sick. I hadn't flown in years, so I think it could have been something to do with that. I have no clue, but it's nothing. In this sport, everything can go wrong. And
so true. Oh my gosh. And it could happen at any time, and you could literally have everything running perfectly and something breaks and you're I don't understand why this is broken.
Yeah.
It just, I don't understand why this is snapped. All of a sudden I have no power in my front brake. Why did my spoke snap? Why have I just lost another spoke? It's brutal, bro.
Yeah, that's what that happened to me at Enduro Nationals last year. My front brake seized up on one of the stages.
Well, you mean closed, the piston?
Yeah, just locked. I have no clue what could have happened to it, but I don't know how it works. It was a muddy one, so I think maybe some mud or something got in the pistons and stopped them from going back, or it's like, I don't know.
Just don't know.
I don't know.
And you spend so much money, and then all of a sudden, race is over.
Yeah, like Dad flew down with spare parts from his bike, and Mum and I drove, and it was I was mid HSC for school as well, so it was like.
Bro, it sounds like you're putting the rents through a little bit of hell there.
Oh yeah, that one was a bit gnarly, but yeah, I go to most of the races myself nowadays, so they're getting their break.
Hey, are the teams that you're rocking with helping out where they can?
Yeah, so Fox, they were a huge help. They at the super flows there. If I need a travel for them, if they've got a couple riders going, they'll like get accommodation if they have to, and they've always got the tent there. With bike mechanic, and they're definitely the biggest help. Huck the World are really good as well.
Epic, bro.
There's always a couple Huck the World riders there, and we all help each other out. And
I like it, bro.
Yeah,
that's sick. No, it's good. It's like I kind of was like, I don't know if I should ask this question, but like you said, you've got these aspirations, and I was like, it's good to hear that like businesses are putting, not obviously putting cash into, but just it's so funny how, man, yeah, sweet, we'll chalk your accommodation for 3 nights, like they just saved you like $500.
Yeah, it's
what I mean, like that. Yeah, that's huge. Like it's such a good help. It's good to see that these smaller businesses or like these businesses are helping riders on that mid-local level, so they can, hopefully get that next kind of, hey, if you can save money from the help that you get this year, and it gets you on the World Series next year, even if it pays for your baked beans out of the van, you're probably going to drive around in Europe, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's all something.
Yeah, 100%. Like, even if you're just getting not free stuff, you're just getting a little discount, that $10 goes a long way. Like, you can get microwave rice and a can of tuna for $10, like $5.
Bro.
Yeah, it's a good meal, and like
special.
goes hard. You can get a bag of spinach with that.
Yeah, and then you're getting your fibre with your deep leafy greens.
Yeah, like it goes a long way if you can save up that stuff from in any way possible. It definitely helps when you got companies supporting you like that.
Yeah, man, it's good to hear. What's the next step? Like, next step for you? Like, obviously, you've had a crank worse. You want to do, obviously, focus on enduro. You want to try and get an enduro world circuit next year. Oh no, sorry, EDR. Oh my god. Yeah.
I'm not used to calling it that. It's still EWS to me.
Yeah. Oh, even like you even hear like some of the pro riders in their vlogs still calling it like the EWS stuff. But what's the process here now? Obviously you've set the goal for World Series next year. What are you got to do between now and then?
So pretty sure I've already qualified. I went to the Tassie rounds this year and just raced in the open categories.
Yep.
And I got good enough results there to get the qualifying points.
Yeah, dope.
So that's a big relief off my shoulders. Last year I was trying to qualify so I could race this year, but I just missed out by a couple spots.
Brutal.
So this year that's like already an improvement. And then kind of just training, getting fit, staying healthy. I'm working with my coach, Energy Link training. They're really working me hard and just try and get ahead of everybody for next year.
Good. Well, but that's the thing. Like, you just never know like how much work it's going to require. So it's like it's important to have, I think personally for me, if I have a goal, I can't really do. It's caused me some grief sometimes because I get so focused, and it's like if you have a goal, there's one way to achieve that thing, and then you either do it or you don't, and then anything in between doesn't get you the result that that you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, definitely. Like, my priority is trying to get overseas. I'm so close, like reaching my dreams. It's a bit crazy not to give it everything. So.
Oh, bro, man, like I said before, you're young and you're in a place where it's just like, it'd be the type of thing that if you didn't have a crack, 30, 40 years on, you're going to be like,
yeah, spot on.
You'd just be absolutely spewing about it. What's the training like for you at the moment? Like you said that like they're working you hard. Like what's a Monday look like? How does that work out for you? Like obviously you got uni, you're still working, but what does a training week look like for you?
Yeah, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday I'm on the stationary bike doing sprints or gradual like building sessions. So they're pretty hard. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays I'll go to the gym. I'll also try and ride the mountain bike on those days as well. And stretching every morning, every night. Obviously, like that is a huge help. But yeah, and then mountain bike on the weekends when I can. So just a lot of riding.
Man, what sort of Ks are you clocking? I mean, obviously you said you got to get out on the mountain bike, but what sort of Ks do you clock just riding in a week?
I'd have to look at my Strava, but it's generally like if I stick and get all my sessions in, it'll be like around 150 Ks, which for a mountain bike I'd say it's a fair bit, but in the road world that's nothing. That's one ride.
Oh yeah, it's like I just go for a lazy 100 today, like.
Yeah. So it's like not super high Ks, but it's a lot more kind of efforts, like 5-minute sprints and.
Yeah, different work. Like it's a different body of work trying to achieve what you are than just going a long distance.
Yeah.
Type thing, which doesn't require strength from particular muscle groups the same way that you do. Or, or that like a downhiller or a dirt jumper might, need more explosive legs, for pop. But it makes sense for you to be doing sprints, for you to be doing 5-minute intervals, for you to be doing, especially going towards, riding enduro stuff.
Yeah. It's definitely just getting your legs comfortable with spinning Ks and yeah, it's a weird balance because you got to be able to have the explosiveness when you need to. You've also got to have the upper body strength to be able to tack a downhill course and. Yeah.
It's not all lengthy. It's funny like how there seems to be like a huge emphasis. I know I just consume so much, like probably unhealthy amounts of like YouTube podcasts, MTB articles, this and that. Like it seems to me like in the past 3-4 years that like training outside of riding a bike has become more prominent for mountain biking athletes and like athletes on bikes than it ever has been. Like it's just, there's the guy that runs Fit for Racing. He does all this stuff for YT, like a YT mob. Like he's got like a whole business based off of programs for mountain bikers. Like I just never, when I was a kid riding bikes, I never ever would have thought that I'd have to go to a gym to get better at riding my bike.
Yeah, it's crazy how much like off the bike actually helps. This is my first year actually going to the gym. And yeah, just my upper body strength and my core strength is improved so much. Like I'm able to really just attack the downhills and control the bike so much more.
What does the upper body work look like for you? Like what sort of sets, reps, like, or even what exercises, bro?
So I do 4 sets of 10 reps for everything. I'll start off with, I'll do bench. I don't know what all the exercises are, but yeah, I'll do bench.
Okay.
One where you're like picking up the dumbbell like that.
Dumbbell row, yep.
That one. And then push-ups, I'll do that as a circuit. So one set is 10 reps of like each thing on each arm. So.
All right, cool. That's like kind of, like a hypertrophy, like a muscle building base, but the fact that you do it in a circuit gives you the endurance aspect.
So yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll do lat raises. I'll hop on some machines. I'll do pec flies.
Yep.
Chin ups and dips.
Yep.
I'll do row as well.
Yep.
And then the ones where you like pull down like that.
Tricep pull down.
Yeah, those ones. So yeah, that's pretty much a full workout, and then I'll finish it off with core.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you do any leg specific stuff as well, or is that mainly predominant around just the pedaling?
So that's my arm day on. Yeah, so that's Thursday. On Tuesdays, I'll do squats, deadlifts, leg press. I'll do leg extensions, leg curls, hip thrusts, and I feel like I'm missing something. But yeah, that's about it for leg day.
Yeah. Man, I can't wait to get back on the. I was training. I've been in the gym for like 12 years. I was training like 3-4 times a week. Then, talking about breaking things, I snapped my chainstay and clean axle, like clean from the bike. Yeah, like complete full snap. But it's where the chainstay snapped was like right at the axle. And so luckily I was able to just replace the chainstay. But when the stay went, the seat stay had bent, and I didn't really know. So when I put the new chainstay in, it was trying to pull a bent part straight. And then 2 weeks, like the week of what's it called? The Superflow. I went to have like a service to get it like race ready, because I was like, I haven't done like a full rebuild in so long. And he found 2 cracks right next to the pivot points for the link for the shock.
Yeah, jeez.
And I was like, And then I injured myself like a month after that. And so I've got my new bike sitting in the garage waiting on this, like.
So you'd be itching to get out.
Oh, bro, absolutely. It's driving. I've literally, because I've been at home for 3 weeks, and I'm just like, and I'm still in the gym, like pre-surgery and stuff, like getting. So like hearing about your training and stuff, I'm like,
Yeah, it's hard. I was off the bike earlier in the year after Cannonball.
Yeah. Did you have a stack down there?
Yeah. So that week, like, it was going insane. It was my first elite racing.
Yep.
And yeah, I got a 4th and 5th in the first 2 events, and then downhill I was practicing last practice run before my seeding run, and just over the hangers broke my T12, just a compression fracture to my T12 vertebrae. So it's a compression fracture.
Actually, yes, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember the stack. That's right.
Yeah, it's on my Instagram.
So. Yeah. It just
famous for it.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was in Moi Moi's vlog as well.
Yeah, it might have been.
Like,
I don't know. Everybody got it within half an hour of the crash. I was just like in the ambulance, and phone was blowing up.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, how long were you off the bike for with that?
It was only 5 weeks. I was pretty set on getting ready for and going to still race the Enduro World Cups in Tassie.
Yeah.
So a compression fracture is actually, in a way, it was better than me breaking my arm, because it's all stable. It's not moving anywhere. There's no risk to the spinal cord.
Yep.
It's essentially just like compressed straight down. So I'm just a bit shorter.
Ooh.
But yeah, so it was like, I didn't do really any training up until that last week. I was able to hop on the spin bike.
Yep.
And yeah, literally rode the mountain bike 1 time before flying to Tassie.
Man,
so
that is like, yeah, it'll be probably October, end of October before I'm bombing again. Or what I call bombing anyway.
Yeah.
Man, I can't, it's so good though. And it's crazy, like, Do you when you couldn't ride and you couldn't train? Did you feel like you're going a bit bananas?
Yeah. I was sitting on the couch and one of my roommates, he's training hard. He did the full Enduro World Series this year. Is Tom Locke. So
yep, I heard
seeing him train and ride is just like doing my head in. I was like so jealous. And like we go out to dinner and they're all telling us about like the sick track work that's been done, and I'm like, oh, it's so hard. And like all my bikes are in like the bedroom or arms room out there, and it's just like I can so just hop on it and go for a ride, but you got to tell yourself no because you're not ready.
That would have been a pain, especially when you're living with people that are racing as well. Like like I said earlier, married 2 kids, so like that's my main concern. But the boys still send me, and the group chats, hey, we're hitting here today.
Yeah.
Or we're going this, or someone will tag me in a reel of them riding, and like I enjoy seeing it, but I'm also like I want to be doing it.
Yeah. I went and marshaled. While I was injured, they had a Superflow race at Stromlo, and so I went and marshaled that. I was starting one of the racetracks for that, and just seeing everybody. Like, it was good seeing everybody having a good time and riding, but like not the same. I could beat this guy, like, and I'm on the couch, like, not doing anything, but yeah.
Man, it's one of those things that just, I guess, takes time, eh?
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a part of the sport. You got to accept it. Like,
it's so brutal, bro. Like,
yeah,
it's funny because I actually didn't hurt. Like, I came off my skateboard going to work.
Oh, that'll do it.
Oh, bro. Yeah, I know, right? I've all the things, the ridiculous things I've done, like bombing hills on a $150 Kmart bike. The things like just. Man, if you live this type of life, or you ride motos, or you ride skateboards, there's a part of you, in my opinion, that likes the danger.
Yeah, 100%.
Or you like it for some reason. When you're like pissing yourself scared when you're about to, or you're hitting a speed that makes you nervous, you're equally as stoked with it.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like it feels like you're managing 2 hyper emotions at the same time, and it just never changed. And I was fanging down this hill, got a speed wobble, and then I was like, oh, this could go bad, but I was like,
nah.
And then when nah, and then it did, and I was like, oh, well, here I am. And it's funny, like you said, it's crazy that we enjoy something that can like off you so bad. For this, like I've seen people, sub 30 Ks, sub 25 Ks break a collarbone just because they washed the front wheel. The way they landed, like when they went down, like it's so brutal. How it's such a fun sport, but it's so brutal how bad it can spit you out when it wants to.
Yeah, it can definitely change your life real quick. I've seen the worst end of that, but it's something you just got to accept it. Like, in my opinion, when you are down and injured, when you get back on the bike, you enjoy it a lot more. And I just try and enjoy every second on it because I know by the time I'm like 40, I'm not going to be in any state to ride a bike. So just enjoy it as I can.
Well, look, I'm only 4 years off 40, and I feel like I'm doing, like I'm in pretty good nick. Like I've still got a lot to give, but considering how hard some people go, it wouldn't surprise me if things don't hold up the same way. But man, it's funny, like regardless of age, anybody I know that rides bike has like rides bikes, particularly mountain bikes, there's a youthfulness to them. Like there's just something about riding mountain bikes where it brings out such a fun like element. I don't really meet salty people, and when you do meet a salty person in crew or someone out of the race day that's got the sooks or whatever, it's kind of like
you ask if they're there for the right reasons.
Yeah, are you like why? What do you got to be stressed about? You're sitting on
Yeah.
probably what's worth, 4, 5, 6, 7 grand's worth of bike. So we already know that you're financially more sweet than most people in the world. Like you're out here in clean air, you're riding a bike, like
Yeah.
you're here with friends, or you had money to travel out here. It's weird seeing people like I said, I haven't really met many because it's such a fun thing, but it's strange when you see people get salty, like super, like proper salty about stuff.
Yeah, you see that at a race, there's always like one or two dudes that are just like bummed out, and I'm like, dude,
Why?
just ride your bike. Like,
Yeah.
you're here, like with an opportunity half these dudes in the world won't have, like to go ride your bike down a hill for fun.
Yep.
And like you've got a
100%.
bike that's got air in the tires. You
Just
got
go down
your
the hill.
energy bars. You got everything. So
Go down the hill, mate. It's
some
okay.
people just
ride your bike.
don't
Just ride
they
the
don't
bike.
focus on it. Yeah.
What well, you said I said to your factory team before, like what team would you sign with? If you all right, do you have like a dream build? Have you ever like I have a team that I'd love to. I'd love. He got me good. I'm gonna have to use that as a screenshot. When I'm thinking, and I do this a lot. Like it's really bad, but like my body does stuff without me like realizing. Or like I'll do heaps of stuff in my hands, but I have an idea of a team I'd like to be on, but that might not essentially be the bike. If I could like have any parts, do you have like a dream build? Like, is there ever like a thing you see out there, like brakes you see out there, or something that you like froth? I want to try those.
It's literally like this bike here.
So sick.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've got like all my dream parts on it. I've got like XTR drivetrain, like full Shimano brakes and everything. Fox suspension, like top suspension.
Yeah.
It's
wild.
It's wild.
Is that an anomaly? Have you got the anomaly constructs on your seat post? I'm just looking to see. Do you have that anomaly constructs thing that's like shifts the saddle
seat?
like down? Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm just using the standard Fox transfer dropper. So.
Yeah. Okay. Because it looks like it's like angled like maybe it's just the angle of the bike, but it looks like it's angled quite down for climbs.
Yeah, I angle mine pretty forwards. Like, I don't know. It's just how I'm comfortable with. All my road bike seats kind of angled down a bit more than most people. It's just how I'm more comfortable riding the bike. So.
People
helps
say you
with
should hang it.
climbing.
Yeah, 100% helps with climbing, but I think that's why they bought that thing out. Have you ever got hung up on it having that angle though?
No,
It's
this
something
is
you
I
got
think.
used to.
Yeah, it's something I've gotten used to. Like, yeah, it's a 175 mil dropper, I think. So it's like pretty long, and yeah, when it's up, it's perfect seat angle for me. It's super comfortable, and when it's down, like there's a fair bit of clearance between like my ass and the seat. So
yeah, gotcha. The stem. What stem are you running to match that XTR?
I'm running the BergTech bars and stem combo. So I got the chrome stem. I had it on my last bike as well, and yeah, it looks sick. It's just like bling.
It is bling. That's so dope. It's funny. Like I had I don't really have like a brand affinity, but I had like an opportunity to like build a bike up through the people that I do ambassador work for, and I got to do like full spank 359 front and rear, spank fiber core bars and grips, Shimano drivetrain, and look, I'd love to have. Oh, actually, no, I probably would like a bomber coil. But yeah, it's pretty much like a dream build when you think about it. Like it's gnarly to think you can just piece something together and becomes like a piece of art almost to you.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like this bike's pretty much fully stock anyway. It's like the only things that are different is my bars and stem. That's legit all that's different. You can buy a bike that comes with all the top line parts, which is crazy.
Yeah, alright. What are they? What tires are you running?
I'm supported by Conti, so I'm running the Continental Crypto Tails.
Yep.
So yeah.
Is that the front rear combo?
Yeah, so I've got the FR, which is their front specific tire. I've got that on the front, and then I've got their RE, which is their rear specific.
And
So I'm just running the enduro casing and the soft compound for both of these, but
inserts.
I run Tannis Armor front and rear. So
we don't meet a lot of people running inserts in the front.
Yeah, I'm a uni student. I don't have the money to replace a wheel, so.
Yeah, gotcha.
If it's a bit more weight and it'll save me a couple $100, I'm all for it.
Next minute, he gets sponsored and the full sponsorship and the inserts go out the door.
Yeah. Might be working on something.
Hey, do it, bro. That's cool. But like you said, it's working towards that dream, bro.
Yeah. Taking little steps.
What's the actual next race for you though?
I don't actually know, Like they just kind of pop up. There's 2 races that I planned like in advance that are coming up, which is Enduro Nationals in Red Hill, Victoria. Yep. I think that's late next month. And then Enduro Jam at Medina in December. So.
Oh, man. I wish that was televised or like in some part. Obviously, you can't really televise an entire enduro event, but
Medina is the sickest place to ride. Like I haven't traveled overseas for riding yet, but Medina is the cream of the crop for me.
Have you ridden Derby as well?
Yeah, I rode Derby for the Enduro World Cup. And it was,
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it was soaking wet though, so I didn't really get to enjoy it fully, but
yeah. Man, I've heard, everybody I know that's been to Medina just like can't speak highly enough of the place, eh?
Yeah, well, like you do one day there and your riding improves so much because it's just a landscape that like a terrain that I haven't seen anywhere else in Australia. Like we got Blue Range out here in Canberra, which is pretty similar.
Yep.
But Medina is just a whole different level of steep and rough. Yeah, it's a cool spot.
Man, that sounds sick. Now you'll have to get out. I rode August last year. The Whakarewa Real Forest where they have the Crankworks Rotorua Redwoods and the Taniwha downhill. Like I rode in the Redwoods last year, and right. I reckon Canada, like if you like Medina, like obviously Derby is Derby, you'll love somewhere like the Redwoods, bro. Like it is just mind blowing. Like you just be like pine trees. All of a sudden you're out in the open on a cliffside. Then you dip back in, and then it's like this clay like BMX track, like and it looks like horror movie trees, and you just everything so much in Australia is dry, and everybody I met that's come from another place, he's like, oh, it's so rocky. Like, man, that's just out middle of winter here, compared to other winters. I mean, obviously I'm in Queensland, but our weather here is so good. Like you can pretty much ride all year round in every state.
Yeah, it's nice and warm up there. Can't say the same about Canberra, but
yeah, not exactly the warmest place in the world, but like there's not really many times in the year where you can't ride. You know what I mean? It does mean that it will be a lot drier.
But yeah, well, we don't get snow down here. Down in like Thredbo, obviously you do, but yeah, you can still ride all year round, which is pretty different to most other countries.
100%. I think, I don't know who it was. I was listening to a review on enduro races but I think why we're seeing like a lot of success around Aussie riders in the past couple of years, like, you know, the Maya Smith boys. Troy's always been so super consistent because all year round here, guys can train.
Yeah.
Like, if you can come home, you know, from a season, whether it's, you know, enduro or downhill, and you can almost get straight back on the bike. Like, you don't have to wait for days and days of rain. Like, because you hear like Oyster Callahan that rides for YT Mob, he loves the rain because where he's from,
that's all it is.
That's all it is. And I can't imagine living in that because my whole life I've lived in Aussie.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, and like, yeah, when it rains, like it friggin' rains, but it rains more here in the summer. Like, it was just so whack. But like, can you imagine them coming here and it's like, oh, I want it to rain. You're like, what?
Yeah.
You know, like, because if we rain here, we kind of don't ride.
Mm.
You
Yeah,
know,
I don't know. I love the rain. Like, I love riding in the mud.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, I feel like because whenever it's muddy, like I don't really care. I'll go ride anyways. I feel like I'm pretty strong in the mud, but yeah, it's definitely the Aussie riders are definitely stronger in the dry conditions than
100%.
the UK people, but yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah, I'm very thankful for the place we have. Like, you do see people whinge a lot about sometimes their local areas, and I think, man, if you go, actually another guest that I had, the episode will come out probably a couple before yours, but he just talked about a little bit about, you know, people's reaction, like locally to like where they ride, and like kind of the general public will like whinge about some of the areas that they have, or, you know, things they got to ride. I was like, man, we can ride though.
Yeah.
All year, like I said, all year round, almost any state.
Yeah.
Perfect to train in, perfect to, you know, to ride in. Like, it's, you got me?
Yeah. Yeah, no, my AirPods just keep falling out, so.
Oh, bro, these things are like same sort of thing. Like every like 20 minutes, I have to like wiggle them.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been like pushing them back in. So,
man, you've got next couple of races, end of the year. How soon are you going to book flights there? Like, you committing, like, where's the first race for the EDR? I'll say EDR. Where's the first race for the EDR next year?
well, the calendar's not actually released yet. It should be coming out early August. So I think last year it came out, kind of the second week of August.
Yeah.
So as soon as that comes out, I'll be, looking out. Like, I'm probably, if I can't get to all of the races, I'm going to try and at least get to the big blocks where there's like 3 weeks and I can get 3 races done in that.
Yep.
Try to get to the ones that are grouped together. It'll be a bit easier to do that. So I'll try to do as much as I can, but I'll try and get onto that straight away before accommodation and stuff sells out.
Man, so it gets released. Are you booking it straight away as soon as the dates come out?
Yeah, I'll definitely accommodation.
Boom. Yeah, cool.
Accommodation is the thing that sells out. Like Medina, there's like 20 houses there, so getting accommodation for the Enduro World Cup was almost impossible, but I don't know how it is overseas, but I assume it'd probably be a bit better, but not taking any chance. I'm going to try and book that straight away.
Boom. Bro, I just had this thought. Uni, full-time or part-time?
Kind of part-time. I'm just doing one subject less each semester, and then I did those in the winter semester, which I just finished.
Yeah.
So I'm doing 3 subjects semester 1, 2 subjects in the winter semester, 3 subjects semester 2. So.
And working.
Yeah.
And training. You must be incredibly good at time management.
Oh, I try. It's, definitely like training in itself is like a full-time job.
100% it is. Yeah.
But I don't know. I like plan out my days on I got like a day planner app. I try plan out my days like couple of days ahead. So I
Yep.
tick everything off at a certain time and stick to that. It helps me stay on track, but it's definitely hard to get everything in sometimes.
Did you find it easier when you're at home because obviously you're just rooming now, aren't you? Like you got some roommates in that?
Yeah, I'm staying on campus at the uni. We got like a 5 shared kind of dorm room where we got our own bedrooms, but we share the couch, the kitchen, bathrooms.
Yeah, everything else, yeah. Did you find it easier to stay on top of things when you were at home?
At home, it's actually a bit hectic. I found it pretty hard because my family, obviously I've got 3 siblings, but we also do foster care for newborn babies.
Oh, cool, bro. That's awesome.
And so, yeah, we've always got like little babies hanging out, or at the moment we got a toddler who's running around the house. So being here is like gives me a bit more free time than I had back
right.
Because I'd have to help out a lot more. So
yeah,
it's definitely a bit easier being down here.
Well, it's funny, like how it's kind of like all lined up. Being at home. Not that it's a bad thing, but you're going to have to help out with family and the foster kids more. The one place you wanted to study, or the one course you wanted to study was in Canberra. Good riding in Canberra. Better scheduling for training, studying. Like, sounds like, everything's lining up pretty well, man. Like, you got the perfect concoction for success there.
Yeah, 100%. It's like all come together really smoothly.
Yep.
And yeah, I just take an opportunity as it comes. It's kind of worked pretty better than I thought it would. So
you must wake up some mornings and be like, damn, this is looking pretty tidy right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Man, I'm just looking at the time. I think we'll cut it there. I am so stoked to have a young dude on that is, up and coming racer. Aspirations. Like, I want to have more people on like this because, like I said, obviously Instagram is Instagram, and that's only a snippet of what people see about. Everybody's story is worth something, but that is only a snippet of what everyone sees. Everyone can post their bike videos, but I genuinely think having people's stories and ideas and these yarns out there can add to, hopefully it helps you. And people get to know more about who you are and your aspirations for racing, and people, who knows who could see this that could help support your journey in some way, bro.
Yeah, 100%. Stoked to be on it. It was real cool.
Yeah, well, like I said, man, I mean, watching along for a bit, and obviously there's a crew of guys around you that I follow as well, that hopefully someone that I want to get on. But I just thought, I like the vibes. And I obviously was like, Tony CRUZE. I was like, I have to know what I have to know what that means, bro. So I appreciate your time, bro. I knew your schedule was hectic, but I had no idea it would be, that gnarly, bro. So I appreciate you taking the time, because you could be studying right now, or you could be sleeping for training tomorrow. So I don't even know how you'd be factoring in sleep.
You set your alarm each night and each morning, and you just...
That's it.
Yeah, head to the pillow. It's pretty easy.
Oh, yeah.
That's the easy part.
Guys, that was episode, 7, I think. Yeah, episode 7. Toby Gibbo, thank you so much for coming on, bro. I really, really appreciate your time, considering how gnarly the schedule is. And, man, I wish you all the best. And Pro Circuit next year. Let's go. EDR. Yep. Or EWS. Man, foot on the gas, bro. Chase that dream.
Yeah, will do. Thanks for having me.
All good, man. Thank you so much. Peace.
The Fully Pinned Podcast.